Just changing the battery in GoPro number 1. Now I think I need a name for this GoPro. So we have Armando, and now I need a name for this one. I keep all my batteries in this pouch, and you'll never guess why I keep them in a blue pouch. B, the letter B. Blue starts with B and battery starts with B, so I always know where the batteries are. And the reason I had to do that is because I have a second nearly identical pouch, which is orange. And the orange one contains all the memory cards and adapters and things like that. So in the old days, I got confused about where the batteries were until I finally figured out B for blue and B for battery. So now I'm never confused anymore. So change the battery. And as I've learned, once you do anything, you do a test. Because I have my Rode Wireless Go microphone on this GoPro all the time, and it doesn't always register when you change something, so you do a quick test. Testing, testing, the microphone is here. Testing, testing. Testing, testing, the microphone is here. Testing, testing. Good. Fresh battery at 100%. I'm going to change the field of view. Or maybe, no, yeah, I'll change the field of view to linear, more pleasing for the eye. And that's that. Now I have to change the battery on Armando. And now I'm recording on GoPro number 1. I have to change the battery of Armando. And one thing, of course, is for GoPros, I only have one cage, like the Ulanzi V2 cage, which I need for the Rode Wireless Go microphone and the GoPro mic adapter. And this one, Armando, is just inside the regular GoPro cage. So there's no way to mount a microphone or anything like that. And this GoPro cage, the original, it's so hard to open. Oh, it's so painful. It hurts my fingers. Ouch, ouch. I've never heard anyone else talk about that. I've looked at reviews of GoPros hundreds of times, I think, and no one has ever talked about how much it hurts to open that clasp. I must be doing it wrong or something. And just getting the GoPro out of the original frame is not easy. I almost forgot. This is my GoPro number 1 bag. So those batteries are for my original GoPro, and I want to keep them separate for now. So the Armando box, full of all kinds of goodies. So let's change the battery. And I have, four batteries for Armando. That was battery number 1. The new battery, fully charged, goes in. Little red light flashes. Tells you that it registered the GoPro battery. And everything is fine. 100% power. Okay. Back into its frame it goes. There we are. Okay, now I have choices when it comes to grips. And my favorite grip continues to be the Jaws Flex Clamp combined with the gooseneck. So let's pop that off there. And now the gooseneck clamps on here. And this is the one I use for my selfie stick. So the GoPro number 1 that has the Rode wireless microphone on it, that's going to go on here as normal, which I combine with this gizmo for a tripod base. So that is my normal setup. And now I have Armando to think about. And how should I carry Armando around today? I think a tripod will come in handy. So I'm going to use the grip that came with Armando. It's a selfie stick that also converts into a tripod. Nice sturdy one too, which is nice. And then I can extend it. Yeah, I think this would be the way to go for Armando. One thing about GoPros, and I've talked about this in the past, is that this finger and buckle mounting system, it's not ideal, because now that I want to put this to there, I mean, it's a bit of a process because I have to unscrew this thing, pull it out, and then you mount it on here and screw it back in. And the whole time you're doing this, it's a bit fidgety. You got to line the holes up, and you could easily drop the GoPro as you're trying to do this. You know, it takes some practice to get it, to do it fast and efficiently. And it would be much better to have a quick release system. So I've been looking at quick release options from Ulanzi, and they have a new system there. They have 2 systems now, and I have to decide which system I want to invest in. But yeah, this is very nice. Look at that. Armando is ready to go, and I can convert Armando into a tripod, and then selfie stick. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, this is a very nice, nice system. So with all this, plus GoPro number 1, we're all set to go exploring. This is the first official test of Armando and the 2 GoPro system. As you can tell, I'm filming on Armando. Got that GoPro set up on a tripod, and I'm carrying my original GoPro around with me. But interestingly enough, in order to get audio, I have to have both cameras on. I'm not filming with this camera, but I am recording audio on that camera. So even as I'm walking around here, filming on that camera, this one is also working. So that's me looking at GoPro number 1, and that is GoPro number 2, filming me, filming myself on GoPro number 1. So if you've ever wondered what I look like walking around talking to myself, this is what I look like, holding it out pretty much like that, arm's length, and I just walk around like this and talk to myself. But now I don't have to. I can look over there as well while I'm recording audio over here. What is going on? I have no idea what's going on. And that is the area I'm most interested in up there. I want to climb up to the top, but I'm going to walk around on the ground for a little while. And there's a nice display, nice. One of my walking Buddhas. I was talking about that the other day. I found a walking Buddha at a temple in Mae Sot where the feet were separated and it looked like he was walking forward. And this Buddha image has the same thing. And he's set up for walking, has the walking stick, and in his other hand looks like a sun parasol. Yeah, and on the back there is the food pot. I really like that. That is such a classic image. That's a nice view too. I've got this Buddha image here, and then another large stupa in the background. I can easily see spending a couple of hours here. Looks like I moved out of frame of the GoPro over there, and then just walk around here and get some other angles. Well, I'm enjoying this new system very much, assuming my mind can keep track of what's going on, having this GoPro and this GoPro filming at the same time. GoPro Inception. One thing I've realized that I don't generally do, because I'm talking so much, and I guess I'd like to talk, I never shoot purely cinematic images. I think YouTubers or filmmakers, they call it B-roll. So I think of me talking as the main video, and then I show what I'm talking about. But filmmakers will then shoot B-roll, which is just scenic images they shoot just because they look pretty and they never intended to have any audio at all. And I don't know, I should get in the habit of doing that. So right ahead of me there, you can see a large central image, but the arm, the right arm is missing, and it looks like it's broken off. And I think it's down here. This is the hand and the arm. But I don't know whether it's broken or just hasn't been built yet, because you'd think if it was broken, the Buddha image would look new, would be painted. Like it would be a colored, a painted image, and then it would be have broken off. But I think it's still being built, and yet that break there looks broken, like it isn't part of the construction. But I don't know. And another Buddha image being built here. I think it still has the frame around it. And then one over here that is painted gold. And another one here. Also, both arms are not complete. And above there you can see the peak where I hope to go climbing in a minute. And this image I should be very familiar with. I saw her a lot in Taiwan, Guanin. I believe she protects sailors and fishermen, anyone who goes out to sea. And then the seated Buddha here. Hey, Poochie. Hello there. Are you friendly? She thought about it just for a second. And over here is one of my favorite things, a large gong. A young boy was just passing by and he rang the gong. And I've been running with a 2 GoPro setup again. I had my new GoPro, had Armando sitting over here on a tripod while I was walking around. And this is where I had this GoPro. Next destination is up there. I want to climb up to that tree. I'm not sure which way to go, left or right. I've seen most people coming away from this side here, so I think I'm going to head in this direction first. I'm already slowly developing an instinctive system for these 2 GoPros. The one I'm using right now, of course, is my original GoPro. It has the microphone attached to it. And I tend to use it when I'm filming myself, or of course when I'm speaking to capture the audio. And then now I seem to be using Armando mainly for, again, the wide shots and for what the experts call B-roll. And I'm slowly working that out in my mind. It's kind of interesting. Don't want to get too ridiculous, but it's even possible to do things like this, where I'm speaking into this GoPro and then I'm filming what I'm looking at with this other GoPro, so I don't have to switch back and forth between the 2 views with one GoPro, and then I can just mix the footage together later however I want. I don't know what's going on anymore. And there are some... It's kind of hard in my mind to separate the idea of the audio going with the video. So if I'm going to talk about something, I feel like the camera with the microphone should be pointing towards it, but it doesn't have to, because the audio is completely irrelevant. It can be applied to both. But I just spotted these small houses here, and they look like they would be places where monks would live, very small little dwellings, but they're completely abandoned and wrecked. But every one has a sign on the front. I wonder what the signs say. I have no idea. Slowly working my way around this central hill with the tree at the top. It's just up there above me. And let's do this weird thing again with 2 GoPros at the same time. There's the hill up there, and that amazing tree with the root structure. I think that's kind of typical of me when I think about it, that I'm looking at a beautiful, probably very historic temple, but what catches my eye and what interests me more is actually the tree at the top of the temple and how the roots go into the rock. there's a small stairway leading up to this platform. I'll go up there. Not to talk about this whole 2 GoPro thing too much, but it is still kind of a technical day as I'm getting used to this. But one thing about it, I was talking to a friend about this recently, that filming with 2 GoPros, as I'm doing right now, is really easy and a lot of fun, but you do end up with twice as much footage from 2 different sources. So the filming is really easy. It's the editing afterwards that's really going to be hard. And that's the case with even normal video. You shoot the video, you can shoot an hour of video having lunch and have lots of fun with it, but you have to be really committed to that lunch, because that 1 hour of video you shot during lunch, it can take you a full day to edit it into a usable video for YouTube. So it's a time investment. And I think that is true of major film production companies too. Once they get organized, they can go out and shoot an entire movie in 2 weeks, but then it might take up to a year to edit the footage that they shot in those 2 weeks. And that's kind of the time balance you have to think about. It might be a lot of fun for me to shoot 2 hours of video today out here at this temple, but do I really want to spend a week editing all that video? So maybe you have to learn to be kind of choosy about what you film. You don't want to end up with too much. Once again, I have the GoPro down at the bottom on a little tripod, and I can walk away from it and record audio with this GoPro. Though if I had 2 microphones, I wouldn't even have to do that. I could still have a Rode Wireless Go on that one, and I could still keep recording audio. One interesting thing about this temple is that there seem to be little pieces of Hindu imagery. I saw what was, to me, like a Hindu statue near the front, and there's another one right here. And I'm not an expert in religious statuary, but I think this is a Hindu figure. There's a lot of interesting statues here. Oh, and I think I found the stairway that leads all the way up to the top. So this is where I need to go eventually to climb upwards. This is a very familiar sight from Bangkok. I saw lots of these statues at the temples in Bangkok. Another statue of the goddess Guanyin. I want to say Guanyin over here. And there she is there. Has a fish around her feet, which kind of indicates that she's a goddess of the sea. And I think the other day when I was trying to get here, this is the hill that I was trying to climb over. I just couldn't find a trail to get me over the top. it's certainly quiet here at the temple. I saw one family group here for a few minutes, and they're already gone. I appear to be the only person here. Well, maybe before I climb up the steps, I'll move a little bit deeper into the compound just to see what's here towards the back. I always like to go all the way around a place before I go inside it, or all the way around before I go to the top. Whoa. Giant spider web, which I'm very glad I did not walk through. And I don't know a lot about this place, but someone did mention that there is a cave here. But I don't know how large a cave this might be. There's a small cave just off to my left. So I'm going to go take a look in there, see if it goes deeper into the hillside. Right here, here's the cave. It's not really a cave system, but I can imagine if you were alive a long time ago, before modern civilization, a little spot like this would be very handy, comfortable shelter from the elements. And it almost looks like there are some stairs back there. Oh, there's the other GoPro. As always, they're very interesting little homes for the monks here. This one appears to be lived in and cared for. There are actually a bunch of them around here, and it looks like they have kind of a shared bathroom situation, similar to my life always staying at a hostel. There's another one up there. And I just noticed a trail heading off in this direction. And I'm not going to go down the trail, but I'm wondering if this is where, if I'd found or fought my way through the trail the other day, leading over that hill over there, whether this is where I would have emerged. And this is exactly the kind of trail that I was looking for back then. And I just noticed all these platforms, and my first thought was that they were platforms for building another tiny house. But I'll bet they are meant for groups and families for picnics. They could come here and set up a family picnic at festival times. There's one over here that has a roof over top of it. And there's another small house that perhaps is meant for monks. And I've heard of people, and I've met people over the years that, like foreigners like myself, who stay at temples like these. But I don't know much about that. I've never done it here in Thailand. I've done it in Taiwan, actually, but not here in Thailand. And I don't know, would you end up sleeping in a little house like this? And I'm not even sure how you would arrange it. Whenever I come to one of these temples, it just seems almost deserted. There's no people here, and I wouldn't even know who to talk to ask about the possibility of spending one night or 2 nights or anything like that. Something else that's interesting about these two GoPro cameras is that the one from Armando had been updated, the firmware had been updated to version 1.9. On my original GoPro, I've never dared upgrade the firmware because when I first bought the camera, I updated the firmware as you're supposed to do, and it basically bricked the camera. the whole thing froze and became inoperable after I updated the firmware. So I brought it back to the store where I bought it, showed them the problem, and they replaced it. Gave me a brand new GoPro Hero 7 Black. I took it back to my hostel in Kuala Lumpur, turned it on, and I went through the setup process, which involves updating the firmware, and it bricked that one too. It became completely inoperable. So I was pretty nervous about what would happen, of course, because stores are not in the habit of giving you one replacement GoPro, let alone two. But I went back to the store and they checked it over and they agreed with me that there was something wrong with it. And they gave me a third GoPro, which is the one I'm using now. But they had to call the official GoPro distributor for Malaysia, and they had to get permission from the distributor to give me a third GoPro. And the distributor agreed, but only on the condition that I not upgrade the firmware. So I never have. I'm still on version, whatever came with the camera, 1.1 or something like that. And I have no idea what difference that might have made had I been able to upgrade the firmware. And this one from Armando, he did upgrade it to the latest version, and I don't know, it's working fine. It's time to climb up to the top. I say climb, but it isn't really much of a climb. You just have to go up a few levels of stairs, and that's all that's required. I really like these Guardian Naga, I think they're called. This is a properly fierce Naga. I would not be messing around with that creature. I've learned that I can't really talk to the GoPro when I have my back turned, because the microphone needs line of sight with the receiver in order to record anything. So if I'm facing the camera, you can hear me, but if I turn around and keep talking, the microphone will cut out. Just for a change, I'm using GoPro number 1 this time. I still have Armando with me, so I do have that line of sight problem. It just occurred to me that if I set up Armando down there to film this of me walking up, I wouldn't have the microphone line of sight problem because I'd have GoPro number 1 with me. So that's another advantage to having Armando. So yeah, I never even thought about that. Going to continue on. These stairs are pretty serious. I've reached a point where some boulders in the past came crashing down and clearly wiped out some of the stairs. So even climbing stairs in Thailand can be an adventure. Oh. It looks like there are 2 different ways I can go to the top, which surprises me for such a small hill. I've got one way on my right here. It's kind of a yellow ladder going up there. And on my left, there are more of the cement and stone walkways with the handrail. When I was just walking up this trail for the second time after going back to retrieve my GoPro, I nearly fell. And that was a combination of weird events. Having 2 GoPros, plus I was looking at the screen of one of the GoPros, and I had my reading glasses on at the same time, just so I could see the screen more clearly. And all of that combined to really mess up my sense of balance. And I almost fell. And it was very difficult to stop myself from falling because I had a camera in both hands. So there's a real learning curve involved in running 2 GoPros simultaneously. It's quite beautiful up here. I'm not quite clear on what the footwear regulation is. In general, of course, you remove your shoes and sandals in a Buddhist temple, but you can't really take off your footwear here because it's so dangerous. The rocks are so sharp. You can't really walk around barefoot. I can head off down this little footpath. And I've just gotten high enough to be able to see the gravel quarry over there. Yeah, it looks like there was a road out. I can see it pretty clearly now, but at the time I couldn't find it. So that appears to be the highest point up there. And I think I have to go up those yellow ladders in order to get there. I thought maybe this pathway would get me there, but it doesn't. Oh. I suppose you could climb over those rocks, but I'm going to go for the ladder. There's another section that I haven't seen yet. Large black Buddha with a solar panel plugged into a radio. It's kind of cool. Yeah, you can see how steep this cliff is. How it goes straight down. So I'm going to backtrack, find that yellow ladder, and then climb up to the top. Okay, it's time for the ladder climb. Looks pretty reasonable and safe. Just have to have one hand free for the guardrail or the handrail. You can see a little bit of wear and tear and bending on this ladder. You can tell from stepping on it, it's not made of the thickest material. So you can see this step right here ended up pretty badly bent. Somehow, can't imagine how. Oh man, look at that. I'm obsessed with my attempt to get here on the previous day. And I can see a really nice little road just winding off in that direction. I might actually do a map check to see how close I am to where I was the other day. Yeah, that is the road I was looking for. As far as I can tell, I'm very close to where I was the other day. So it's very tempting to walk up that road over there and see where it leads. I don't know. Maybe I should take my victory of finding this temple and just leave it at that. So I'm almost at the top of the yellow ladders. There's the very top up there. Just one more little yellow ladder to go. I have Armando sitting down here at the base. I'm a little bit nervous because of the wind, but I think that tripod base is actually quite wide and it's pretty stable. So I think I'm going to leave it there just to capture my climb up this last little yellow ladder. This reminds me of a place in the Philippines where I went climbing a cliff, and it had stone exactly like this. And I remember it being extremely dangerous just because if you slip, even if you slip and fall to a knee or something, these rocks are so sharp, they will, they'll cut you open. Karst, is that what they call this? I think a karst rock, karst limestone. That word is in my head for some reason. Oh. Oh. Just climbing up here, instinctively, I almost reached for the Buddha image to hold on, to keep my balance, but it's best not to do that. Oh. Whew. Wow, as I said, it's a little bit treacherous up here. And there's the very top. And I think as high as I'm going to go is right here. This little saddle. You can actually see some loose rock here that has fallen over the centuries. Man. Just thinking about the construction of these and the maintenance of them in order to get up there. To paint them, for example, they probably paint it every year. Again, I keep saying no joke, but yeah, getting up there would be no joke. I assume they would have to climb here and then somehow, unless there's a way of getting there from the other side, but I don't think so. Wow. And this is the view in the other direction. Oh, there might be a view just on the other side here. Whoa, look at that. Oh. So that is quite the creature over there. Looks almost like I want to call it a phoenix. I want to get closer, but I think I'm just going to stay here. There's quite a long drop right in front of me into that I don't know what you call that, cavern. Reminds me of 127 Hours. Even has a rock right here that could fall. You fall down there and you get trapped down there. No, thank you. So I'm just going to stay right here. And people do keep mentioning snakes to me, and then I keep forgetting about snakes. I keep putting my hands all over these rocks and into these crevices for handholds without thinking about it, but I suppose if there is a snake up here, they would love to hang out inside those crevices. So best to keep my hands out of them. Okay. Oh, time to safely work my way back down to Armando down there. Whew. Do I want to follow that road or not? I know there's another shrine up ahead. It's marked on Google Maps. So, do I want to follow that road over there or not? I'm kind of tempted. You know what? I could actually take my scooter up that road. Ah, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, it's paved the whole way. So I can drive up this road and then see how far it goes. And then I may be in the walking distance of where I was the other day. Because this mystery is really driving me nutty. I want to know what's over there. Okay, yeah. I have a scooter. I keep forgetting. I'm a scooter guy now. I don't have to walk everywhere. So I can drive up there. Ah, now I have a plan. But the first part of any plan is to get back down here without hurting myself. Oops. I almost grabbed the Buddha again. Yes. I mentioned when I was at the Mae Sot cave that going down is often much more difficult than going up, especially if you're trying to face forward. If I turn completely around and go down backwards, that would probably be easier. And of course, that's what I'm going to do here at the ladder. But even going down that little ladder backwards, you can't see where your feet are, right? You're reaching down into empty space, hoping you find the rung of a ladder. There's the ladder below my feet, only 3 rungs, and then the rest of the ladder down there. And then we're going to go scootering in that direction. Okay. Let's see, where is that? Oh yeah, the rung is right there. All right, that feels safe. Ooh, get another handhold. There we are. Oh. Hey, Armando, I made it back down. Okay, now I'm talking to my GoPros and I'm giving them names like I'm actually talking to an inanimate object when I'm actually talking to you guys out there. All right, time to head the rest of the way down. Ooh, carefully heading down this ladder. Taking a chance by going forward. Well, at least there's a nice solid handrail to hold on to. Oh. I just finished making a video about all of the Christmas traditions from my childhood and walking around these rock formations and going into caves the last little while. Kind of makes me think about summer camping trip and camping traditions for my family. And perhaps if the mood strikes me and anyone out there in the world is even vaguely interested, I could talk about all of our summer camping trips when I was growing up. I don't have a lot of memories of them because they were so long ago, like clear childhood memories, in my mind. But we do have a lot of family photographs of those trips. And then when I look at those photographs, it does bring back certain moments, certain stories, and certain patterns that I remember. So using those photos, I can probably talk about those family camping trips. And they also would probably look fairly interesting because they all date from the, again, from the 60s and the 70s. And everything was very different back in those days. But there's an area in the north of my province in Canada that has some hills and some rocks and caves. And I remember visiting those as a kid. There's even a small ski hill up there in the north, or a couple of them actually. Slowly working my way down. Just have one GoPro operating this time. That's interesting. I saw a bunch of these cement pipes over there, big ones. Oh, you can see them over there, just a couple of them peeking around the corner. And I was wondering what was going on with those. Were they doing a major irrigation system? But here I can see that they've actually used them as statue bases. So they fill them with gravel and rock to weight them in place. And then they put a cement cap on the top and mount a statue on them. Oh yeah, even the blue ones up there, that's what they are. Interesting. Because I'm pretty sure these really are meant for drainage pipes, like in ditches and for water drainage. By using them in a temple would be an economical way of mounting statues. So those big ones over there, I guess they can use them as they are or cut them into pieces. Well, actually, now that I think about it, they're probably just going to stay exactly where they are. They probably placed them there on purpose. All right, these guys right here. Yeah, they're there already permanently. And they're going to eventually put a statue on top of each one. And I'm willing to bet this is kind of a clever strategy on the part of the temple, in that if they create a lot of bases for statues, then patrons of the temple will be more inclined to donate a sum of money to erect a statue if they know exactly. Like if I can choose this base, this pillar, and say, I will donate enough money to buy a beautiful statue plus fund the temple for a month or a week and put my statue right here, then people are probably more inclined to make a donation. Interesting. When I first saw these, I thought they were here as part of a construction project, and they were actual drainage pipes, and they were just going to leave them here until they put them in place. But maybe there's even more going on, because look at that. They're actually hooked up to a pipe. So maybe they're being used for water as well. It's a series of water tanks, and they're going to put statues on top. I have no idea. So another mystery. Are these just water tanks? Or are they a combination water tank and statue base? As you can see, there's a whole series of pipes leading to all of them. So there must be a pump somewhere, and they fill them with water. Huh. I don't know about the construction, though. This one is clearly not level. The whole thing is tipping over. I'm down at the bottom now, looking up at where I was, and I never did make it to where the tree was located. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So right there, that's where I wanted to go, where the tree was. I didn't show it, but as I approached the stairs to that stupa, or that, that little stupa, there were 3 or 4 monks sleeping on the stairway. They were in kind of these these bundles. They were all wrapped up inside and sleeping up there. And I didn't really want to disturb them, so I didn't go up to that point. I ended up over there on that side. I was at the base of this, but I couldn't actually go the full way up. And now that I'm here, this is the road that leads to the other shrine, or the other temple, and that's where I'm going to go. But before I go there, I'm going to walk down this trail that's just ahead of me, because that's where the Black Buddha statue is located. And from there, maybe I can get a nice view up at where I was climbing just now as well. Again, thinking from a fundraising point of view, a site like this is very attractive, because all of those spots on the cliff right there would be very appealing to someone who wanted to donate money for some ornamentation. And they can pick a spot on the cliff, perhaps. Can they decide in advance what the temple does with their donation? That would be interesting. Let's walk through here. Certainly always a lot of construction going on at temples. They always seem to be in the middle of being built. It's probably just because of parts of it are being built, and of course maintenance. This area of the temple with the Black Buddha seems to be under construction still. Relatively new. That's right down below where I was just a few minutes ago. I don't know if you can see it, but there's that one statue, almost dead center, kind of a phoenix. And that's where I wanted to go down to, but it was a little bit too dangerous. But the life of temples here is really quite mysterious to me. I think I'd have to be here for many days or weeks just to get a feeling for the rhythm of life. Like, I never quite know what is going on, even the construction, who pays for it, how the finances are organized. And right over here, there's some cooking going on. And I think there was some kind of a festival or celebration connected with that. And just as I've been sitting here, a group of 3 or 4 senior monks came along, and they took a seat up there, and these women were giving them meals. And all of that activity, I have no idea exactly how it all works, who these women are, and are they paid to do what they're doing here? They do it on a volunteer basis. The monks, of course, what their lives are like, where they're from, what they do here during the daytime. I honestly don't know anything about that. I just spotted an interesting structure over here. Little cot. Oh. I assume it is a shrine, but I thought maybe it could also be some place where someone is living? No. It must be a shrine. Yeah, it looks like a small cottage. Very quaint. But I don't really know what it is, so I don't want to risk going up there and causing trouble. There's quite a range of temple dogs here, as always. time has come to get back on the scooter and drive down that road and see where it takes me. See how far I can get towards solving this mystery. Yeah, I enjoyed this visit very much. Very beautiful and interesting spot. I do wish I could have gone right to that point where the tree is, but as I said, I did not want to disturb the sleeping monks on the stairway. But looks very nice from down here, so. Just one last look at this temple compound. Now I have the GoPro on super view, so it should capture a very wide shot. And we're going to this new place, and I don't know what it is called, but there appears to be a sign right here with an arrow giving the name of it. Oh man, okay, there's so much more to this place. There's a replica of a royal barge on my right with a pond around it. I can turn the scooter around, take a look at the front of it. Again, has a very Thai feeling about it as opposed to Burmese. That figure at the front of the boat strikes me as a very typically Thai image. Huh. All right, time to see where this road goes. It's pretty steep. Okay, just give a little gas and away we go. What's up with all this walking? When you have a scooter, this is the life. I think if I was on foot, I probably wouldn't bother going up this way. It would just take too much time. And there's the temple from the back. Certainly looks much more impressive from the front. They chose the right perspective and where to build. Okay, let's continue on our way. Time for a quick stop. And that is the view that I saw the other day. And so yeah, I'm sort of in the same neighborhood. Again, I'm pretty sure that this hill to my right, that's the hill that I was trying to walk over, but I couldn't find my way up. And got a beautiful view behind me as well, looking back towards the gravel yard and Myanmar. Let's turn around for a second just to capture that. And there's the view towards Myanmar. As always, those mountains are inside Myanmar, on the other side of the Mae River. Beautiful. Time to continue on. This road is exactly the road I was looking for the last time I made this trip. So crazy that it's such a big and easy path to follow, even on a scooter, when no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't find it from the other side. So what is the answer to this puzzle? Coming up to the top of a rise, should get a nice view. And that's kind of the view I was expecting. There's Mae Sot, and that's exactly where I was. that hillside right over there. I know I keep babbling about this, but it strikes me as so crazy that I was just on the other side of this hill, and yet I could not find my way to this spot. And I'm not quite sure what this place is, or whether visitors are welcome, but I do see the English word welcome on this hut here. So we'll see where the road goes. I wonder if I could even go all the way over to the other side. Somehow I doubt it. Ah, look at this. And this is where the road ends. The paved part anyway. So you know what that means. I'm gonna have to walk in that direction a little bit anyway. So let's get off my scooter and find a place to park. Just going to leave my scooter here for a minute and walk down this dirt road. See where I end up. This seems like a bit of an omen or a sign. There's a straw hat on the ground. Maybe that's a sign that I need to get my own hat someday. Protection from the sun. So, I know I've said this in the past, so I'll say it again. I'm not going to go that far. I just want to go a little bit and see what happens to this trail, and see whether the other day, if there had been an easy way to get here. And the shrine that I was climbing towards is right there. So that's what I was trying to find. And of course, if there'd been a pathway like this, I never would have given up. A path like this is what I was looking for. It's a beautiful view. of the valley. I forgot I had the GoPro on super view for the scooter trip. Back on linear, less distortion. And as you can see, the trail is slowly starting to disappear. And it is gone, pretty much gone. Yeah, just sort of ends here in the fields. And I guess I was down this slope somewhere on the other side of that line of trees. That's where I was when I was trying to get here. Huh. I'm just rethinking things now, and I'm starting to think that I wasn't on the other side of that tree line. I think I was right here in this field right below me, because that tree and then the other tree below it are looking very familiar. Those might have been the trees that I fought my way towards, which is insane, because if that's true, I was like 150 feet below here as I was trying to fight my way up this hill. And I was right down there in that field, so close to this trail, and I didn't even know how close I was. That is so crazy. But having said that, still kind of even crazier that Google Maps says there's a road here, because I don't care who you are. I don't care how thick your glasses are. You can look down here as long as you want. You're not going to see a road, I can tell you that. But I'm pretty sure that's where I was, right down there in that field right below me. So close, and yet so far. It's a beautiful day. So it's kind of repetitive to say that, or kind of pointless to say that, because it's always a beautiful day right now. I always have blue skies like this every day here. Now that I'm up here, I can actually see all kinds of potential trails maybe that I could have followed. There's a trail right down here in the base of this valley that seems to go all the way around the hill to the temple, and I probably could have gone that direction. There's no way I could have gone there by scooter, but on foot, though at the time I couldn't see anything indicated on Google Maps, so I didn't go in that direction. But that probably would have been the easiest way to go by far. Could have just walked right around the hill. to go down it just a little bit. Wanted to see where it goes. See whether I could have found it easily on my last visit. Good road for a gravel road, nice and smooth, so they definitely take care of the grounds here. Okay. There's the gravel. This is where they would fill the trucks, I guess. The gravel gets stored in those giant towers, like silos, and then a truck would come park underneath these conveyor belts. They all look to be broken though. Oh no, maybe not. That's how they're designed. Today. Looking at it from this point of view, the road is over there, but it goes down that hill, and I never saw it. Plus, I was much further away than this. I think I was, I was way over there. So I never even got close to here. It's interesting that a gravel site like this doesn't even have a gate. There's no gate at all blocking this entrance. Look at this operation here. Also a gravel distribution center with all those conveyor belts. It looks very cool. This would be such a great place as a kid, you know, if I were growing up here. Whoa, look at the sand piles over here. That looks so cool. I wonder if the local kids come here on the weekends and play in the sand piles. We used to go to places like this in my hometown just to hang out and spend the day. And one last look. Yeah. So that's where you're supposed to go in order to get the road to the temple. But I think what I did, I went up that road over there. That's the way I went, up that road. It looks more like a road into the countryside, and that one leads to a dead end. And I never went in that direction. There were just too many trucks operating in there, and it just didn't look like there was a way out. Anyway, mystery solved. Yeah, this whole place is abandoned. It's amazing. Well, not abandoned, it's just, ooh, empty. Now, look at this. That wasn't there before. A barrier to keep out cars on the weekends. But scooters can still get through. I'm back home, back at the guest house, and I think that is the end of my New Year's Day. So I'll wish everybody a happy new year now. I don't think I will have the camera running at midnight tonight to ring in the new year. As I was driving through Mae Sot on my way back here, I could see everything was closed. All the restaurants were closed, all the coffee shops were closed. So I imagine all the bars are closed too, with the temporary lockdown that we're under right now. So I don't think there are very many New Year's Eve parties going on out there, and if there were, I don't think I'd be attending at this point anyway. So yeah, that was a great little trip. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Solved a lot of mysteries about where this temple is, and some of the mysteries about a two GoPro life. I had a lot of fun with that today. And it's the end of my day. Happy New Year, as I said to everyone. I hope 2021 works out much better for everyone than 2020 has. I'm sure everybody is expressing those same sentiments around the world. Though for me, to be honest, being here in this place for most of 2020, I've really enjoyed it, so it hasn't been that bad a year for me overall. I've had a good life here in Thailand during 2020. Even though it wasn't my choice, I did want to go to other places and do some traveling around, but this is how life turned out this year, and just making the best of it. So, Happy New Year. See you in the next video in 2021.